Hello, everybody. Now, welcome to week 2 NFL of Beat the Spread. We had a wild week in week 1. Now, let's do a recap. How did I do? So, my 3 picks was the Bengals minus 6.5. They lost by 6 to New England. The Bengals, what happened to you this week? Forget about it. I am not even going to bet on you this week coming up because you know what? You got to prove yourself now. Next up, Houston at the Colts over under 48.5. What do they do? 56 points. Now I am 1-1. And my last pick was the Seahawks at minus 6. Guess what? Seahawks won by 6. They pushed. So I went 1-1 this week. And my lock was the Bengals. So I got smacked in the lock. And now let's start the picks for week 2. The Giants at the Commanders, a.k.a. the Redskins. Like I said, I will always call them the Redskins. Over under 44.5. Commanders favored by what? 1.5. What am I picking? I am picking the under 44.5. Lock that in. I am also picking the Commanders at minus 1.5. The over-under for this game is 46.5. Cowboys are favored by 6.5. Who am I picking? It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to cover 6.5. As we all know, Saints last year, they'll have a blowout one week, and next week they will get blown out also. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cowboys win by 14 points or more. Now, the over-under is going to be close, but I'm going to pick the under. I think the Cowboys at home are going to shut down the Saints. That defense is going to lock them down. Next up, Raiders at the Ravens. Over-under 41.5. Ravens minus 9.5. Who am I picking? Let's start with the team that I'm going to pick is the Ravens at minus 9.5. Lock that in. They're going to win probably by at least 20 points. They're just going to smack the living daylights out of the Raiders. The over-under is 41.5. Who am I picking? I'm going to pick the over because I think Baltimore is going to score at least 30 points in this game. Next up, Chargers at the Panthers. The Panthers look like the worst team of last week compared to the Giants, who probably were the second worst team of last week. Over under 38.5. Panthers are plus 6.5. This is what I would do with this game. If you want to bet it, I would take the Panthers, but change that to a plus 7.5. Have that as a safe bet. Over under 38.5. Go under. The Chargers last week scored 22 points, 9 in the first 3 quarters. I'm telling you, this is going to be an under game, but it's going to be close. If you want, I would stay away from it. Colts at the Packers. You would have thought this is going to be a high-score game with the over-under being at 40.5 points. What am I taking? Packers are getting 3 points at home, and you would usually take this with the Packers because they're getting points at home, but no, take the Colts and also take the over. I'm going to take a chance with this over under due to the fact that Jordan Love is going to be out for a couple of weeks. He will not be playing, and also the Packers running back is also possible he may not be playing, but I just think that he will be there. He's questionable right now, but we will find out. So lock that in over 40.5. And the Colts at minus 3. Lock that in. You want a safe bet? Buy a half a point. 49ers at the Vikings. The Vikings are plus 6 at home with Sam Darnold. The 49ers, yes, the Vikings have a top wide receiver in the league, but the 49ers are really just going to annihilate this team. That defense is going to shut them down. Sam Darnold is going to get shut down. We're going to see the Sam Darnold that was on the Jets this week, which is going to be god-awful. 49ers win by at least 14 points in this game. Over under, pick the under because there's a possibility McCaffrey may not be playing. So go with the under and pick the 49ers at minus 6. Next up, Browns at the Jags. Over under 41.5. The Jags are favored by 3. Take Jacksonville, take the under. Deshaun Watson just looked god-awful. They need to bench him. Bring in Jameis Winston. He's going to give you a better quarterback at the position. I mean, he just looks all for that quarterback. So I'm telling you this right now. Take Jacksonville -3. They're probably going to win by around 7. Over on the 41.5, I would take the under. Next up, Jets at the Titans. Jets are a 3.5-point favorite. Over on the 40.5. I mean, the Jets defense didn't play good this week. I'm telling you, I would definitely take the over just because the Titans offense looks like they were a little bit better this year than last year. So maybe things are turning around on their offensive side. So definitely take the over, but I'm taking the Jets. I think the Jets win by like 6 to 7 points, somewhere in that range. Bucks at the Lions. Do not sleep on Tampa Bay this year, as we all saw how their offense was last year. And what are we going to do right here? Over under 51.5. Obviously, they're predicting a high-scoring game right here. Lions are favored by 7. Who are you picking? I'm taking Tampa Bay to cover the +7 right there. Lock that in. Over on the 51.5. I'm going to take another chance with this game with the over. And what I mean by this game, with the Lions. Last week I took a chance with that over and I got killed. And what I mean, I took a chance. I didn't take a chance here. I actually bet the over on that game and I lost. Next up is the 4 p.m. games. Here we go. It's the Rams at the Cardinals. 2 high-power offenses going at it. And this game is going to be in Arizona. Cardinals are favored by 1 point. Puka is out. He will be out for at least a couple of weeks with that injury. Over under 48.5. I'm going to take the Cardinals to cover this spread, and this game is going to go over. I expect at least 54 to 58 points in this game. Next up is the Bengals at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 5-point favorite at home, and the over-under is 47.5. You have to stay away from the Bengals. I'm telling you. I know you might think they might bounce back, but I just think that the Chiefs are going to cover the spread. So I lock that in. Chiefs at -5. Over on the 47.5. I'm going with the under just because of the fact that the Bengals offensively looked so awful last week. I mean, they just looked so awful. I literally just wanted to shut the TV off. I couldn't stand what the Bengals were doing. What is going on with Joe Burrow right now? He's not the quarterback that he was 2 years ago. Next up, Steelers at the Broncos. Over under is 36.5. Broncos are getting 2.5 points. This is an easy pick. Pick the Steelers at -2.5. Over under 36.5. If I was anyone, stay away from that, but I gotta pick somebody right here. So when I pick it, I'm gonna pick the over just because you're probably gonna have Justin Fields back at quarterback again. Since he did really good last week, they may just go with the hot quarterback. And you might not see Russell Wilson at all this year. Maybe around the trade deadline, they may trade him. Next up, Bears at the Texans for Sunday night football. I mean, I think this is just insane. I understand you got the rookie quarterback, but I don't know why they have him playing Sunday night football on the second week of the season. There's so many other teams out there that deserve it. But here we go. Who am I picking? Texans are 6-point favorite. Over under 45.5 points. I'm going to take the Bears to cover the 6-point spread. But if you want to, the safe bet, push it to +7.5. I think the Bears can match the Texans offensively. And the 45.5, I'm going to take the over and lock that in. Now, next up, here we go for one of the best parts. The pick 3. Who is going to be my 3-team parlay?
Baby water! Baby water!
And now, here we go. Who am I picking? We had all these games, all these picks. Who is my top 3 picks? It's simple. This is who I like. I like the Ravens to cover a 9.5-point spread. And the next up is I love the over on the Rams and Cardinals at 48.5. Last but not least, take the Steelers at -2.5. Lock those 3 in. And next up, who is my lock of the week? Well, you got 3 picks. They all look good on paper. We'll find out Sunday if they're really good. But my lock of the week is who? which you heard me say that they were going to win by like 20 plus points. Simple. Baltimore Ravens are going to win. They're going to win by at least 3 touchdowns in this game. The Rays are going to get smacked. You got a West Coast team coming to the East Coast with all that time zone change. And the Ravens are a really, really good team. And the Ravens are a really, really good team. They're probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC, possibly the NFL. So lock it in. The Ravens at -9.5. If you want to make extra money, push the Ravens at -13.5. Lock those in. And that's it for the show. Please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button.